Welcome back to Bahamian Mathematics. Please press the subscribe button, like and share to see more videos like this one. In this video, we will learn how to calculate the area of a triangle. We'll learn that area equals half of the base times the height. Let's take a look. Let's remember the formula first for the area of a rectangle. The area of a rectangle is calculated by multiplying the length by the width. So here's the width and here's the length. When we multiply 8 by 3, we get 24 centimeters squared. But if we cut the rectangle in half along its diagonal, we can see that we have two triangles. Here's one, and here's another one. And so if we divided the area of the rectangle that we found, 24 centimeters squared, by 2, this should tell us the area of each one of the triangles, which is 12 centimeters squared. This triangle has an area of 12 centimeters squared, and this triangle has an area of 12 centimeters squared. Let's look at the formula then for the area of a triangle. It is simply the length times the width, but divided by 2. Because the length times the width would assume that it is a rectangle. But since it is half of a rectangle, which gives us a triangle, we have to divide by 2. And so in this case, the length is 8, and the width is 3. 8 times 3 divided by 2 gives us 8 times 3 is 24, divided by 2 gives us 12 centimeters squared. And that is the area of this triangle. Here's another way to write it. We can say half multiplied by the length times the width, and it will give us the same answer. And so in this case, half times 8 times 3. Half of 8 is 4. 4 times 3 is 12. So again, we know the area of this triangle is 12 centimeters squared. But here's an even better way to write it. Half times the base, this is considered the base of the triangle, multiplied by the perpendicular height. And here is the perpendicular height. We know perpendicular refers to a line that runs perfectly straight up and down that hits a base at 90 degrees. And so when we multiply a half times, in this case, the base, which is the side that runs normally from left to right, and we multiply it by the perpendicular height of 3, again, half of 8 is 4, multiplied by 3, it gives us 12 centimeters squared. And so the general formula for finding the area of a triangle is half multiplied by the base multiplied by the perpendicular height, sometimes known as the vertical height. So we say A equals half times B times H. Sometimes you will see it as half BH. And let's look at the two. Here was the rectangle on the left, the area of the rectangle and the area of the triangle. We can see that the area of the rectangle was length times width, and the area of the triangle was base times height divided by 2. You can see that there are two triangles in the one rectangle, which is why we had to divide by 2, which gives us half times base times height. So let's take a look at locating the height and the base. If we want to find the area of the triangle, we know from the formula it is half times base, and here is the base, multiplied by the perpendicular height. Now, if you take a look in the diagram, the 9 feet is a slanted height. It is not the perpendicular height, and that can't be the measurement that we will use. And so we need the perpendicular height, and here's the perpendicular height, because it runs perfectly straight up and down and hits the base at 90 degrees. This is the height that we need to use. And this is 10 feet. And so we can substitute now the values. The base is 12. The perpendicular height is 10. Half of 12 is 6 times 10 gives us 60 feet squared. Remember, area is always stated in square units. And so the answer is 60 feet squared. Let's take a look at another triangle. And we write the formula half times base. And here's the base multiplied by the perpendicular height. The base is normally the part of the triangle you can tell that if you took it and tried to sit it down on a flat surface, it would sit on that surface. And it normally runs from left to right. The base will normally run perpendicular to the vertical height. The 6 inches is not the vertical height. This is the slanted height. And so we cannot use that to find the area of the triangle. Here's the perpendicular height, the vertical height that runs top to bottom and touches the base at 90 degrees. And so this is 8 inches. And so we now substitute half times the base is 10. The perpendicular height is 8. Half of 10 is 5. Times 8 is 40 inches squared. And here's another. The area of the triangle, half times base times the perpendicular height. In this question, we can see that the base is 10. And the perpendicular height runs up and down and touches the base at 90 degrees, and that is 11. So half of 10 is 5, times 11 is 55 meters squared. That was an easy one. So let's practice. Here is a triangle that shows various measurements. And we know the area equals half times base times height. And so half multiplied by, what is the base in this question? We can see that the 12 has a perpendicular height hitting it at 90 degrees, so we call that side the base. And the height, we can see, is 10. So half of 12 is 6 times 10 is 60 units squared. Because we don't have centimeters or inches or feet, we just say it is 60 units squared or 60 squared units. In this triangle, we can see that there is a perpendicular that hits a long side, which runs kind of from left to right. And so half multiplied by the base, we will say is 20 meters, multiplied by the height, the vertical height in this case, the perpendicular height, we can see the little square. And so the vertical height is 9. Half of 20 is 10 times 9 is 90 meters squared in this case because our sides are in meters. And now it's quiz time. Find the area of the triangle. You have 5 seconds. Time's up. The answer is 24 kilometers squared. You can almost sense a rectangle there that's half missing. And if you multiply 8 by 6, you get 48. And then if you divide that by 2, you get 24. But let's use the formula. Half times the base is 8 times the height is 6. Half of 8 is 4 multiplied by 6, which is 24. Question 2. Find the area. Time's up. The answer is 49 meters squared. If you use the formula, half times 14 is the base, times 7 is the height. Half of 14 is 7, times 7 is 49. Question 3. Find the area. Can you find the base and the height very quickly? The answer is 300 inches squared. If you took half of the base is 30, multiplied by 20 as the height, half of 30 is 15, multiplied by 20 is 300. And question 4, find the area. Time's up. Can you see the base and the height? The answer is 21 millimeters squared. Half times the base is 6, multiplied by the height is 7. Half of 6 is 3 times 7 is 21. The answer is 21 millimeters squared. And now you've solved the mystery of how to calculate the area of a triangle. Great job.